This episode of Ink and Imagination is brought to you by Ramblings of a Comics Fan. Available now on Amazon. Welcome back to Ink and Imagination, the podcast where we dive deep into the stories behind the stories, peeling back the panels of comic book history. I'm your host, Alex K. Costa. In our last episode, we traced the story of Jack Kirby, the king of comics, and his lifelong fight for recognition. Today, we're moving forward to the 1990s, where a group of young artists decided they wouldn't suffer the same fate as Jack Kirby. They walked away from Marvel, built a new company called Image Comics, and ignited both a revolution and a disaster. This is a slightly more in-depth story of the rebellion than we have told already on these shows. The speculator boom, and how the comics industry nearly collapsed. By the early 90s, Marvel and DC ruled the comic book market. But something new was happening. Artists had become celebrities. Todd McFarlane's run on Spider-Man sold millions. His exaggerated webs, monstrous venom, and dark tone made him a rock star. Jim Lee's work on X-Men was sleek, dynamic, and wildly popular. His X-Men #1 would sell 8 million copies. Still, as of 2025, the best-selling single issue ever. Rob Liefeld's X-Force became a phenomenon, with its oversized guns, pouches, and extreme art style. Fans weren't just buying characters anymore, they were buying the creators. But those creators knew the history. They had seen what had happened to Jack Kirby. They didn't want to create the next generation of icons just to hand them over to Marvel and DC. In 1992, 7 top Marvel artists walked into a meeting with their publisher and laid it out. They were leaving. Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Mark Silvestri, Eric Larson, Jim Valentino, Wilch Portacio. Together, they founded Image Comics. There, the rule was simple: the creator owns the creation. This was a seismic shift. No comic con- This was a seismic shift. No corporate contracts, no work for hire. Whatever you created, you kept. And fans followed them. McFarlane launched Spawn, a comic about a government assassin resurrected from hell with haunting artwork and a morally grey edge. Jim Lee created Wildcats, blending superheroes and sci-fi. Liefeld's Youngblood became a blockbuster, marketed like a Saturday morning cartoon on steroids. Silvestri's Cyberforce, Larson's Savage Dragon, the list grew. For a moment, it looked like the big two had real competition. But this was also the height of the speculator boom. Comics weren't just being read, they were being hoarded. Fans and non-fans alike believed comics were the new Beanie Babies, the new baseball cards. Buy 10 copies today, sell them for thousands tomorrow. And publishers fed the frenzy with foil covers, hologram covers, multiple variant covers, collector's editions sealed in plastic. Marvel printed millions of copies of X-Men #1. Image printed millions of Spawn #1. Stores ordered by the thousands, expecting profits to soar. expecting profits to soar. And for a while, sales were astronomical, but it was an illusion. The cracks came quickly. Image had creative freedom, but no structure. Books shipped late, some issues months behind schedule. Stories were thin, rushed, or incoherent. The hype overshadowed the substance. Meanwhile, speculators began to realize their investments weren't worth much. How could they be when millions of copies sat unsold? By the mid 1990s, the bubble burst. Comic shops closed by the hundreds. Distributors folded. Even Marvel, the titan, declared bankruptcy in 1996. The industry almost collapsed, and yet Image survived. McFarlane turned Spawn into a multimedia empire, toys, movies, a hit HBO cartoon. Jim Lee eventually sold his Wildstorm imprint to DC, becoming a top executive. And Image itself evolved into something unexpected, a haven for creator-owned experimental comics. From Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead to Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples' Saga to indie darlings like Invincible, Image became the home of the modern innovation. The core principle still held. Creators held on to their own creations. The story of Image Comics is the story of a revolution. Messy, imperfect, yet necessary. Yes, the speculator boom nearly destroyed comics. The rebellion of those artists proved that creators could seize power and fans would follow. From Jack Kirby's struggles to Image's defiance, the fight for creator rights shaped the industry. It shaped the industry we know today. And frankly, it's still shaping it. Every time a creator launches a Kickstarter, every time a new contract promises ownership, every time fans rally behind the people who created the heroes, because we because without the creators, there is no story. That'll do it for this episode of Ink and Imagination. Join us next episode where we dive further into some aspect of comic book history, whether that's going to be another dive into British comics, a look into action figures and the relationship to comics. We don't know. It's really going to depend on what strikes our interest as we do the research, but if you have suggestions, reach out to me on Blue Sky at Carcosa. I shouldn't be too hard to find. Until next time, remember, love the comics, love the creators.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.